Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me today. We are gathered here to talk about something that impacts all of us, something deeply personal, yet often ignored, misunderstood, or even dismissed. Recognizing the forces that operate in our lives and how these forces can appear in the form of our closest relationships. I want you to understand right from the start that this message is not to bring fear or to demonize the people you love. This is not about looking for evil where there is none. No, this is about equipping you with the spiritual awareness to discern when negativity, toxicity, or even destructive behaviors are being influenced by darker forces. You see, demons are not just grotesque, horned creatures that live in dark places. They can appear in subtle, seemingly innocent forms. They wear faces of those we care about, those who are closest to us. Our friends, family, and even those we trust the most. We must understand how to spot them. We must understand how to recognize their behavior so we can protect ourselves and those we love. One of the clearest signs that something destructive is at work, especially when it's hidden behind the people we love, is division. Division is a tool used by dark forces to break apart what was once unified and to turn relationships against each other. If you begin to notice that a relationship you once cherished is becoming strained, if the peace and harmony you shared with friends or family members start to slip away, there's something deeper going on. It's not just personality clashes. It's an intentional effort to sow discord and confusion. Think about the times in your life when you've experienced division. It might have been subtle at first, an argument here, a misunderstanding there, but over time, things began to escalate. You see, division doesn't always come with a loud bang or a direct confrontation. It's often a whisper, a tiny seed of doubt planted in your mind. It's when someone you care about says something like, "Did you know so-and-so said this about you?" Or, "Maybe you should be careful about who you trust." At first it seems harmless, but as these small, seemingly insignificant words pile up, they begin to create a wedge between you and the people you care about. This is a strategy of darkness. Divide and conquer. If the enemy can break down the unity in your family, in your friendships, or in your community, then the foundation of your peace and your strength crumbles. Division creates confusion and breeds distrust. One moment you're a team, standing side by side, and the next you're facing each other, questioning motives, doubting intentions. Real life example. I had a close friend who was deeply connected with her sister. They grew up together, shared memories, and knew each other's dreams. But as time went on, a strange change began to unfold. Her sister's partner, a seemingly kind person, started suggesting things that made my friend uneasy. "Your sister always gets more attention from your parents than you do," he said one evening under the guise of a casual conversation. "I don't think she really understands how hard you work." The comment seemed harmless, but it planted a seed. Over time, that seed of doubt grew. The sister's partner began suggesting more divisive thoughts, turning one sister against the other. The bond that had been so strong began to deteriorate, and what was once a beautiful relationship started to feel like a battleground. At first, my friend thought she was just being sensitive, but slowly she realized that this division wasn't an accident. It was intentional. And it wasn't coming from her sister. It was coming from the influence of someone who had a personal agenda. The breakdown didn't happen overnight. But once the seed of division was planted, it spread like wildfire, leading to arguments and hurt feelings that seemed impossible to heal. It took years for my friend and her sister to rebuild their relationship, but the lesson was clear. Division comes quietly, often disguised as innocent suggestions or misunderstandings. But its goal is always the same: to tear apart the bonds that hold us together. Another subtle but powerful sign that something negative is operating through the people around you is manipulation and control. We all have relationships where we give and take, where we compromise and work together. But when someone uses manipulation to get what they want, it's not about love, it's about control. Manipulation is not always obvious. It doesn't come with dramatic demands or forceful behavior. It is subtle, sneaky, and often disguised as care, concern, or love. But manipulation twists the truth. It distorts what is real to make you feel as though you're the one who needs fixing. It makes you second guess yourself and your choices. And before you know it, you've lost your sense of direction. What's worse, when manipulation is at play, it wears the mask of kindness and affection. You might feel guilty for not appreciating the person's advice or feel like you owe them something because they've helped you. There's no room for genuine independence when manipulation is at work. You begin to lose your ability to make decisions freely because you are constantly trying to please someone else or avoid their disapproval. This is not true partnership. It's control, plain and simple. You might feel as if you're walking on eggshells, unsure of whether your actions will meet someone else's expectations. Real life example. Consider the story of a young woman named Sarah. She had always been close with her mother, seeking her approval for almost everything she did. But something started to shift when Sarah became an adult and began dating. Sarah's mother, while loving, began to subtly manipulate Sarah's choices. "I don't think he's the right one for you," her mother would say, not with anger, but with a quiet, concerned tone. "I just don't think he's as good for you as you think." Over time, these small remarks began to weigh heavily on Sarah. She found herself constantly questioning her relationship, even though she loved her partner. But the manipulation didn't stop there. When Sarah made a decision to move away for work, her mother's voice grew more insistent. "I've always been here for you, and I just don't know if I'll be able to handle it if you leave." The guilt was overwhelming. Sarah found herself torn between her own dreams and her mother's emotional needs. Every choice she made felt like a battle between her own desires and the weight of someone else's expectations. Her independence was being eroded, slowly but surely. At first, Sarah didn't recognize it as manipulation. She thought her mother was just being protective. But as time passed, she realized that her mother's concern was no longer about her well-being. It was about maintaining control. The subtle comments, the guilt trips, the constant need to be needed, they all added up to a clear message. "You are not allowed to live your life without my approval." Manipulation doesn't always involve direct demands. It's in the way people make you feel like you're responsible for their happiness, the way they twist situations to make you question your decisions. And it's dangerous because it erodes your confidence and independence. Instead of feeling empowered to make your own choices, you start to feel like you're always living for someone else's approval. You start trusting yourself. You start doubting your own instincts, even when you know deep down what's best for you. This is where darkness creeps in. The goal of manipulation is never love, it's control. And when that control is at work, it keeps you bound in a cycle of self-doubt, guilt, and fear. You lose sight of your own strength and the clarity to pursue your life's purpose. You become a puppet in someone else's hands. And before you know it, your own identity is lost in the shuffle. There is nothing more soul-crushing than constant criticism. No one can thrive in an environment where their every move is scrutinized, where every effort is met with disapproval, and where every failure is used as evidence of their worthlessness. Criticism is an essential part of growth. It can help us learn, evolve, and improve. But when it becomes relentless, when it becomes personal, and when it seeks only to tear you down, it's no longer constructive. It's a weapon. Those who are influenced by darker forces often disguise their criticism as help or honest truth. They might say things like, I'm just trying to help you. Or, I only want what's best for you. But the reality is that they are chipping away at your self-worth, undermining your confidence, and feeding you lies. It's the kind of criticism that leaves you questioning your abilities, doubting your decisions, and feeling as though you are never enough. This type of behavior is not about offering guidance. It's about control. It's about constantly making you feel like you're falling short, that you need to change to be acceptable, and that nothing you do will ever be good enough. People influenced by negative forces use criticism as a tool to keep others in a state of self-doubt, always striving for something they will never attain because the bar is always shifting. Real life example. I knew a man named David who was passionate about his work in a creative field. He was deeply committed to his craft and poured hours into improving his skills. But every time he shared his work with his partner, he was met with harsh criticism. "This is terrible," his partner would say. "I don't know why you're wasting your time with this." Over time, David's enthusiasm began to fade. The love he once had for his craft turned into dread. He found himself second-guessing every decision, not because he lacked the talent, but because he had internalized the condemnation. His partner's constant criticisms weren't just about the work, they were about him. They attacked his worth as a person, making him feel inadequate in every aspect of his life. David's story is one of many. Criticism like this isn't aimed at helping you improve. It's aimed at breaking you down so you'll doubt your own abilities and rely on the approval of others. The moment your sense of self-worth is tied to someone else's approval, you lose yourself. You stop pursuing your dreams, your passions, and your purpose. You begin to believe the lie that you will never measure up. And you become trapped in a cycle of self-criticism, guilt, and fear. Criticism can be crushing, but it's essential to understand where it's coming from. It's not just about an individual's harsh words, it's the spirit behind them. When you are constantly attacked, when your every effort is invalidated, it's a sign that there is a dark influence at work, trying to keep you from rising, trying to keep you from reaching your potential. Unforgiveness is one of the most dangerous forces that can take root in your heart. It may seem like something you can overlook or suppress, but unforgiveness is a slow poison that spreads through your life and soul, infecting every relationship, every decision, and every moment. Bitterness grows from unforgiveness, and once it's allowed to take hold, it becomes nearly impossible to escape. When you hold on to unforgiveness, it's like carrying a heavy burden with you wherever you go. You cannot move forward because you're chained to the past. You are bound by the offense, reliving it over and over in your mind, nursing the wounds and rehearsing the hurt. This emotional weight affects everything you do. You might become angry at the world, distant from the people who care about you, and unable to form healthy, trusting relationships. The truth is, holding on to unforgiveness does more harm to you than to the person who hurt you. But bitterness goes even deeper. It's a silent killer that seeps into your heart when unforgiveness is left unchecked. Bitterness distorts your view of the world and the people around you. It causes you to see every action, every word through the lens of past pain. You become suspicious of others' motives. You expect betrayal, hurt, and disappointment because you've convinced yourself that everyone will eventually let you down. Real life example. Consider the story of Maria, a woman who had been deeply hurt by a former friend. This friend had betrayed her trust in a way that was unforgivable. Maria held on to the hurt for years, replaying the betrayal in her mind, refusing to forgive the person who had caused her so much pain. As time passed, Maria noticed something disturbing. She couldn't enjoy her other relationships because she was so consumed with bitterness. Every time someone else did something she didn't like, she would flash back to that moment of betrayal. Her perception of the world had been altered. She was no longer able to see people for who they were. She saw only the potential for hurt. She began pushing away others, unable to trust, unable to love freely. Bitterness distorts your reality. It keeps you locked in the past, unable to move forward. It stops you from experiencing the joy and freedom that forgiveness can bring. And when you allow it to take root in your heart, it becomes a tool for the forces of darkness to control you. Unforgiveness and bitterness allow the enemy to keep you shackled to old wounds. The person who hurt you may have long moved on, but you remain trapped, unable to experience peace because you're chained to your anger. I've seen this happen in many lives. People who are so consumed by the past, so overwhelmed by what others have done to them, that they cannot see the beauty in the present. Their bitterness clouds their judgment. Their unforgiveness becomes the lens through which they view the world, and it prevents them from forming new connections, from healing, and from moving on. They are stuck in an emotional prison, and the longer they hold on to the hurt, the more isolated and alone they become. Forgiveness is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. It's the ability to let go of the past and choose to move forward, free from the chains of bitterness. But this is not an easy task. It requires a deep decision to release the power that the hurtful actions of others have over you. It requires a commitment to healing. When you forgive, you free yourself from the grip of darkness and reclaim your peace and joy. As we close today, I want you to remember this. The forces that seek to disrupt your peace, break your relationships, and rob you of your purpose are not stronger than your ability to rise above them. Recognizing the signs of division, manipulation, constant criticism, and unforgiveness is the first step toward reclaiming your life. It's not easy, and it takes courage. But you are equipped with the strength to break free from the chains that have held you back. When you choose to confront these negative influences, when you decide to protect your peace and your heart, you will see the shift. The power that others have over you begins to diminish, and you step into the fullness of who you are meant to be. You will find the courage to forgive, the strength to rebuild relationships, and the wisdom to avoid the traps that darkness sets before you. Don't allow the actions or words of others to define your future. You have the authority to rise above, to walk in light, and to live out your destiny. The road to healing may be challenging, but it leads to freedom. A freedom that will empower you to live with joy, purpose, and peace. Remember, your relationships are not meant to bind you or hold you in a place of constant pain. They are meant to lift you up, to help you grow, and to be a source of strength. It's time to reclaim that power. Let go of what has hurt you. Guard your heart and step forward into the fullness of your life's purpose. The future is yours, and you are ready to walk in it with boldness, strength, and peace.